The liberal smear machine is in full effect as Pierre Poilievre's numbers continue to rise. The desperation is oh so glorious to watch, and we're going to talk about all of that. Let's get into it.
Oh, yeah!
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to The Fringe. I try to cover as much as I can about the federal government here on this channel. After all, people have secretly dubbed this channel the Justin Trudeau Network because, well, there's always something to talk about when it comes to Justin Trudeau and the clown that he truly is as Prime Minister of Canada. Now, the smear machine has been in full effect this week, and it's of no surprise that of course, they're trying to barrel against Pierre Poilievre and the Conservatives. We've seen videos this week showing people banging drums, and what I was told was construction workers hammering plywood to try and deafen Justin Trudeau's ability to converse during press conferences. We've seen the carbon tax protests happening across the country, many provinces showing their dismay in Justin Trudeau. Well, they're fighting back because Pierre just seems to continuously keep gaining ground. Now, when it came to the motion in the House of Commons to, I guess, initiate an election to vote no confidence in the government. Of course, I told you during that infamous video that this was a funeral for all of the MPs in the Liberals and NDP and Bloc that were essentially propping up the Liberals and stopping an election from moving forward because citizens have had enough. We can see civil unrest across the country. What's going to be interesting, and what I said in that video, is that you're going to see that the Conservatives continuously move to gain seats while other parties are losing, and that is of no consequence. As we see here on the 338 Canada, the Conservatives currently at 42% plus 4, almost double the Liberals' approval rating if there was an election. 24% plus 3. NDP are sitting at 19 plus 3. The Bloc is only sitting at 8. Green at 4, PPC again 2 plus 2. Pierre is projected for a majority government currently. 170 seats for a majority. They're predicting 210. And that number is going to continue to grow the more you see Justin Trudeau pushing his ideologies on people and his woke natures. Now, if we head over to Twitter, or X as now it's called, you can see here Theo Fleury, friend of the channel, playing political games translation. OF, they know I'm an illegitimate PM because China interfered and helped me win the election. Better gaslight the Conservatives. That works every single time. When questioned about allegedly receiving more election interference briefings from law enforcement in 2021 than the Conservative leader Aaron O'Toole, PM Trudeau accused the Conservatives of playing political games. Let's take a look at that. Let's take a look at what he had to say there.
Conservatives at the foreign interference inquiry alleged that you got more briefings than their leader did about potential foreign interference during the election. They also say the government and security agencies did not take evidence they passed on seriously enough in the days after the vote. Why should Canadians trust that there wasn't a finger on the scale?
I think one of the unfortunate things is that this is something that should bring all parties together to work constructively, and unfortunately the Conservatives continue to try and play partisan games with the facts and the issues before us that are very, very seriously. We have independent panels that have put out clear reports on what happened and what didn't happen during those elections, which meaning the election integrity held, and we now have a commission of inquiry that is going through all the various facts. I'm going to trust the Commission to continue to do its work. I look forward to participating next week, and I look forward to the reports of the Commission that will both, I'm certain, reaffirm the integrity of those elections, but also make important recommendations so how we can move forward in a constantly evolving threat environment to keep our elections safe and our democratic institutions safe for the future.
Now, hold on a minute. Did Justin Trudeau just say the government is going to investigate itself just so that it can reassure Canadians that nothing wrong happened? It seems to be the old same speech that we keep hearing over and over from Justin Trudeau and his Liberals, because let's be honest, they've done this before when it comes to all of Justin Trudeau's scandals. It's, well, the government investigated itself to find out that it did nothing wrong. It's It's the same old, same old. We know from documentation and from Liberal MPs stepping down, there was Chinese interference in the last election. I'm very, very worried about the level of interference that is going to be in the next election. Again, you see the political hyperbole train speeding up. You can see that they just do not want Pierre Poilievre continuing his massive gains in political polls. We've talked on the channel before about how Justin Trudeau hired a new consultant to try and ramp up the popularity of the Liberal Party, which is almost like Sisyphus. It's that never-ending boulder going up the hill, and it's you can't repair what's already demolished and broken. Justin Trudeau broke Canada. Of course, we've seen the Liberals bring out MAGA-style politics, talking about Russia, just like U.S. And again, we've talked on the other videos about how U.S. politics are now U.S.-style politics, I should say, are now entering Canada. But let's take a look at what they're saying here. Ms. Valdez coming out, Pierre Poilievre doesn't care about Mississauga. He doesn't care about building more homes here or helping people in our community. He cares about himself. He cares about winning, and that's about it. Let's watch the desperate.
Pierre Poilievre pretends to care about helping you find a home, but he doesn't. He reminds us constantly that he was actually the housing minister.
When I was housing minister.
But that year, Canada built fewer homes than in any other year since we formed government. These stats are a direct consequence of decisions that Pierre and his government made to make massive cuts to home building. And now, he's promising to make those cuts again. Here in Mississauga, we signed a nearly $113 million deal that is going to make it easier to build homes. Mississauga is going to cut red tape, build more than 3,000 homes over the next 3 years, and invest in more homes near public transportation. We've put billions of dollars on the table to support the construction of hundreds of thousands of affordable housing across the country, and he promises to take that away too, along with the fund that has already landed dozens of agreements with cities in every region of the country. Pierre's plan isn't going to solve the housing crisis because Pierre doesn't care about the people that it impacts most. Pierre's plan is to shred these agreements and cut the funding to Mississauga housing. Pierre doesn't care about building more homes. Pierre doesn't care about Mississauga. The thing that Pierre cares about the most.
When I'm Prime Minister.
Ms. Valdez, I hate to burst your bubble, but Pierre will be Prime Minister. At least that's what the polls are saying. So you might as well get used to that. Second of all, she made a huge claim back here in the video saying that when he was housing minister, fewer homes were built since they formed government, meaning the Liberals. If you look at the red lines here, like this isn't very much higher than this blue line. The homes that are being built, when we question affordable housing, there's a video I put out about 2 weeks ago in regards to Crystia Freeland. And we talked about her press conference in Victoria while she said, look at all the affordable homes we're building. And I believe that the average single studio apartment, again, no bedrooms, just a living room with a kitchen and a bathroom, was going for roughly $350,000 in terms of what the mortgage payments were going to be, at somewhere in the vicinity of $1,800 a month. They had up to 2-bedroom apartments available for purchase for affordable housing, and the payments were over $3,000 a month, citing that those apartments were costing in excess of $500,000 based on today's interest rates, or at least at prime. That's what you'd be looking at. Now, of course, we've seen Sean Fraser, and we don't need to play the video again because we've done it so many times, where Housing Minister for the Liberals, Sean Fraser, has sat down and said that this push for houses actually doesn't get houses built. In fact, one thing they show at the end of this video is all of the various photo ops that were taken, which is essentially all that this bill does. It allows them to stand in front of already solidified projects and talk about all the housing they're putting in when those houses were going to be built anyways. It really isn't doing anything besides giving bonuses to cities for allocating the ability for them to come and do their photo ops. The NDP are jumping on board now. Pierre Poilievre pact with Galen Weston is costing you more every grocery trip, every grocery bill that you get. Jagmeet is fighting for your family's needs. Pierre is protecting corporate greed. This is laughable at best. If you watched our video yesterday, I was talking about how there's some conflicting information with this. Jagmeet Singh's brother has some ties to fighting Loblaws. This seems like a huge conflict of interest as Jagmeet's party says this, because here's a tweet from Marty up north, just in case you need a refresher. Jagmeet Singh's brother is a lobbyist who works for Metro Inc. Metro Inc. is a Canadian food retailer in direct competition with Loblaws. His brother's company has Metro as a client that they lobby for. Now, people had mentioned that this is the same brother who actually donated to the Freedom Convoy. But you can see here, these are all linked to Metro LLC. This is insane. But of course, so when you hear Jagmeet Singh talking about, well, people can't afford to pay their groceries, people can't afford to pay their bills. I said this when the vote went through for non-confidence. If you really sided with Canadians, you would vote to put this government out of business so that people could afford to get rid of the carbon tax and buy groceries and fuel for their vehicles, clothing, everything they need once again. Jagmeet Singh doesn't care that you can't afford groceries. This is to help his brother. This is where I say follow the money. I also said during that vote that any statement he makes about these greedy CEOs at this point is null and void, because again, if he cared, you'd see the vote go through. Another NDP post with pure desperation. Why is your grocery bill so high? To pay for Loblaw CEO's $22 million paycheck and hire lobbyists in high places. You mean like Jagmeet Singh's brother? Like Pierre Poilievre's chief strategist. With Pierre, you'll pay more and his friends will make more. Well, I think that's what's already happening in the NDP, isn't it? You're working for Metro Inc. Hypocrite says what? I mean, this is desperation at its finest, and it's only going to get messier from here, folks. Keep in mind, we're just over a year into reaching, I guess you could say, election season. By the time next summer hits, you're going to see politicians going on the campaign trail, starting to ramp up for that October, November. I believe it's an October election that we're headed for. I always get it confused with America because America's in November. But we're going to see our election hitting in the fall of 2025. These guys are going to be going full tilt, but this machine is not going to slow down anytime soon. Of course, I caution everybody with things like this, follow the money, follow who their connections are, follow the chaos, because that is going to ensue. Let me know what you guys think down below. Is Pierre Poilievre protecting Loblaws, or is this just more shilling for Jagmeet Singh's brother to get his contracts in motion? What do you feel about the desperate moves that they're putting forward here to try and blame Pierre Poilievre? I personally think whatever money is being spent on consultants to try and repair the Liberal image should be fired. That money should go back to Canadians. This is appalling. Leave your comments down below. If it's your first time here, I hope this video has earned your subscription. As you're hitting that subscribe button, make sure to click your bell for notifications. Join us here tomorrow night on the channel for Friday Night Fringe at 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central. We do this every Friday where we talk about everything that's happened in the prior week, everything coming up in the week ahead, and a little bit of back and forth with the community. I look forward to seeing you all there, and I can't wait to jump into the chat, and I will see you all tomorrow night. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and have a great rest of your day. I'll catch you on the next one.